Well, we'll see if anybody's up running around. Aaron got a frog in my throat. I get a bullfrog. Hey, James, how you doing this morning? I said I was going to take a break for a minute. I figured I might as well turn this thing on and see if anybody's running around. Oh, I'm doing fine. Just bothering the Rocky. You can hear him going after it. I figure every day you get up and see a grass from the top side's a good one, James. Hell, I'm gonna sit here and it's probably not gonna be a real long one, but I'm supposed to go meet a guy and look at a couple vans and see what I can get into. Well, I was pulling one of them deals last night where I'd sleep for 2.5 hours and then wake up for a little bit, and then sleep for 2 hours and wake up for a little bit. Well, you're getting that bottle of blues, ain't you? Yep. And then women can do that. You know, I've been placing my life to where I didn't think I was going to get up the next morning. I didn't think I was going to see sunshine come up. I made up my mind right then and there that everyone that come up, I was going to enjoy it. Yeah, if I'll go back to bed pretty quick, I'll go back to sleep. But if I stay up very long, well, then I'll turn that coffee pot on and I'm messed up. Hey, Diane. Hey, Mr. G. Quartzite Flash. Gee, everything going to suit you this morning? Dang, Rocky. I tried putting a message up on the community tab yesterday. Did any of y'all see that? Did it come up all right? Well, we're pretty close. It's 76 here. That's about what it's going to be here. That's not bad. I'm going to try putting another one up and see if I'm doing it right. Did you see it, Diane? She usually watches that kind of stuff pretty close. Hello, Lynn. You got that you all down? Out of you all. Okay. You talking about me? Are you talking to me? Yeah, I am retired, but I got more junk going on than I'm doing than I did when I was working. Yeah, sometimes since I retired, I wonder how in the hell I had time to work. Okay, Rocky, you start to get on my nerves now. Hey, JW, how you doing, gal? I'll tell you what, we're going to know that country around that Iron Mountain. As many videos as they're running on it. No, I got a dog here. Hello, Ava Potterfield. Yep. Miss Ava, you doing all right? It's gonna be a pretty good crew there if everybody shows up and talking about it. I think last year they said they had what, about 50 people? I'm old enough to know better, Lynn, and young enough not to give a damn. Yeah. Yeah, I make good compost. Oh, Rocky. Rocky playing tug of war with me with his bottle. Dang it, little old dog stout. Shoot, I can remember when somebody was 30 was old. That's my dog. He's got a plastic bottle. Ah, that's enough. Turn loose. I've got hold of the end of it, but I don't know if I'm gonna win or he's gonna take that. Wow. You make too much racket, Rocky. Lynn, you know, it's funny. I wake up some mornings I think I'm 20, and some mornings I think I'm 120. Well, where'd you get that one from? I took one away from him, and he went and got another one. You been in the trash? Hmm? Well, there's one thing about getting old. It beats the hell out of not getting old. My grandma cracked me up about that getting old business. She was 99, and like 2 weeks making 100, and she was really going down. Knew she wasn't gonna make it. She was madder than heck because she wasn't gonna make 100. Yeah, there you go. How that song go? Not as good as I once was, as good once as I ever was. I don't even have a clock in here. If I don't look at a phone or a computer or something, I don't even have any idea what time it is. Georgianne, what are you doing, girl? Oh, here comes trouble. Hey, Angie, what you doing, darling?
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh, Lord, if I was any worse, I'd be sick, and if I was any better, I couldn't stand it.
If I was any worse, I'd be in the hospital. Any better, I'd be in jail.
Worried about that a couple. What you been up to?
Just sewing these quilts.
My mom used to do that all the time. I hadn't seen you in a
Hi,
while.
Diane. Hi, James. Do what? I'm sorry.
I said I hadn't seen you online in a while.
My internet is so crappy that I have to pick and choose when I'm online. And then, like I said, I'm making these quilts and for the auction next week. And so I've just been biding my time, getting ready to go to Florida.
Go down there and get your little fishing done, huh?
Exactly. Look, this. She heard me on a live stream.
Dang, that dog got big.
Yeah, she has. She's spoiled rotten.
Oh, Lord, that's like Rocky. He's the same way.
No, you gotta stay down. Oh, but she thinks she's queen of the house. Hi, RV with G. Lindy Okie. Hello, hello.
Hey, PSV, how you doing, man? I
Is
guess
that Paul Vines there? Yep, yep. Hi, Paul. Lynn, the channel is Angie and Rick's Family Adventures. And I've got a short up on the 4 quilts that I'm making. They're different sizes and everything. I think this last one's going to be about a queen size. It's going to be huge. But I'm auctioning them off for money for adventures for when we go to Florida.
that's neat. That is neat. I used to get in all kinds of trouble when I was a little bitty. My grandma and my mom and some more ladies met like once or twice a week and did the quilt. And I was always getting up underneath that damn quilt and deal trying to play and getting in trouble.
Uh-huh.
What do they call them? Quilting frames?
Yeah. Or the older people used to call them looms.
Yeah.
But yeah, the quilting frames and stuff. Yeah.
You know, most of these people don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
I know. When I get down south, I have a set that are made out of sawhorses that I can do different size quilts on. And so I'm going to try and I was going to get me a set for up here, make me a set for up here, but I just don't have the room in here unless I set it up in my living room, you know. But okay, later.
That was something when you was a kid that if it was really cold, they put about 3 of them damn quilts on you and hell you couldn't move.
Yep.
They're not light.
Lynn, I have collected a stack Let me see if you can see. Can you see a stack of materials and stuff? And I keep anything that's over usually a couple of inches in size. And then I'll piece them together and make me little scrap quilts or just, that's what a lot of these are just made out of material I've had on hand, you know?
Boy, I could have run with some of those comments.
Yeah, I keep anything over 2 inches. Yeah, well, it's a fishing joke, guys. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah. Well, you ready to go fishing when you get down there in Florida?
Oh, that's one of the first things. That's one of the reasons I'm raising money. One of the first things I want to do is get my fishing license, and then I got to pay the taxes on the boat, and get the license on the boat, and then I'm gone.
Well, do you have to pay full price for license down there? Well, that's out of state. You would have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because I'm not a resident down there yet, so I have to pay out of state. But they're not as expensive. And see, when up here we used to sell hunting and fishing license, and it was like outrageous for a year license for out of state people. And but down there it's not that costly. So if I go ahead, which I'm going to see, because if the year goes till December, I just may wait till January to get my license. That way they're good for a full year. And I may just get like a 7 days for right now. But yeah, I'm trying to get the year long license so I can go fishing while I'm down there now. And then when I go back next fall, I can get more use out of it.
That's one thing about Texas. It goes from August 1st to August 1st.
Yeah.
When you buy it. But that's one good thing, being a vet and 100% on that vet. Well, fishing license and hunting license don't cost me anything here in Texas.
Right.
Now go to other states, it does. Texas is good about that. You get license plate for your truck, cost you $2. Fishing license is free, or hunting license, and then whatever your residence is, well, if you're 100%, there's no property taxes on it.
Right.
So that helps a little bit.
Lynn, when my husband retires, we're wanting to go. I won't say full-time RVing, but we'll be doing a lot more traveling. So we'll have a home base here in West Virginia, and then we've got a place in Florida. So I'll spend the winter in Florida because of my bipolar and everything. The more sun helps me and everything, so I don't go through all the depressions and all that stuff. So up here, I'll fight depression really bad if I can't get outside. So when Dad passed away, they would go south every fall. And so when he passed away, my plans were to take Mom down, get her settled in, and get the place fixed up for her, because anytime I go down, first thing I do is I pressure wash everything, clean everything, get it all set up. And my plans were to fly back and spend the winter here. Well, Mom wasn't feeling well that first winter, so I ended up staying down there with her and realized how much better I did. So Rick's like, go ahead, and I have flown back, every now and then. I surprised him one year and flew back for Valentine's Day and stuff like that. But for the most part, health-wise, I'll stay in Florida for the winter. And then when he retires, then, he'll be able to do the winters down there and do more fishing. And we do a lot of exploring and outdoor adventures down there. So, yeah.
How far is it down there?
It takes anywhere from 14 to 16 hours.
So you're 700-800 miles in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'll usually drive it straight through unless something, comes up and I get, really tired, or sometimes my son will drive, but usually I'll drive it straight through, and
How's your son doing?
he's doing good. They're supposed to have scheduled him for an MRI on his back. We've still been struggling with that, trying to get that figured out. But they never did contact him with an appointment, and we're leaving in a couple of weeks. So, we'll just have to wait till we get back in the spring to see what's going on with it,
I haven't. I never have fished in Florida, but it looked like you get up in the edge of them cypress trees and some of them channels and stuff back in there. You could have a blast.
Oh, yeah. My dad used to fish those waters like it was going out of style. He would come home with strings of them, and thank you, Lynn. Like I said, she's spoiled rotten. She's looking outside now. There's a cricket on the window outside. But yeah, he loved to fish. He knew what fish was running when, what bait to use for what type of fish. And, he loved his fishing. And
You know,
so,
when I was
you know,
growing up, I was like 10 years old, and I can't believe my parents let me do it. But there was no man, he was in his 80s, and this Brazos River is right here close where I live. And he made his living off of the river. He was a commercial fisherman. And he took a liking to me, and we'd go down there on that river. And of course, now this is an old man that's used to doing it the old way. He'd buy a brand new paint can, gallon paint can, and then throw some coffee and stuff in that paint can. We go to and you carry a wool blanket and a paint can, and that's all you carried. If you didn't catch something, you didn't eat. We'd go down there and spend the weekend, and he'd dip a bucket full of water out of that river and set it on a fire and throw a handful of coffee in it and make it cowboy coffee. And you ate about what you caught. It didn't make any difference if it was a mudcat or a damn gar or what. But he taught me more about that river. He knew every inch of it.
yeah. See,
So yeah,
that's the way Dad was, especially down there in Florida where he would go all the time. But I can remember when we were little, we went to Canada. There was about, we went for like 2 or 3 years. We'd go up to a little place in Arilla, and it was called Bass Lake. And he would catch so much bass out of this lake that it shocked even the camp owners. I mean, and it even got to where DNR would meet him at the docks wanting to know if he had extra fish. And the first time they did that, it scared us because up there we were only allowed to keep like 6 a day per person, and there's usually 3 to 4 people on the boat that was fishing with him. But they would bring in so much fish that people from the campgrounds and everything would meet them at the dock, and he would supply that campground with fish. And I got so sick of fish on those trips because everybody was fixing fish. So it always smelled like raw fish or or fried fish, or, it was oh God, it was so overwhelming because everybody had their fish. And then we'd always bring back, 6 a day per person. We'd bring it back across the border, and, of course you had to have it checked. And it was so bad, and this is no lie, that the local store, we would, just like a little mom and pop little place for snacks, we would supply them with fish, and they kept a cooler empty for us so we could freeze our fish because we didn't have enough freezer space in the campers. And then when we would come back, we'd head back, we would stuff the live well with frozen fish, stuff all the coolers with frozen fish, you know. And then what we couldn't bring back, we just give them, you know. I was never so sick of fish in my life.
Well, when I haven't done it in a couple of years now, but used to, I'd take and make 2 trips a year. And down here, the catfish, we eat a lot of catfish, and you can catch 25 a day, and you can have 2 days worth. Well, I go down there on that river and take somebody else with me, and we bring 100 cats back, and have them in the freezer. Them game warden just shake her head. Said, "There's people out here been fishing all weekend long. They haven't caught 2 fish," and said, "You got a boatload of them." But
Yeah.
there's some little
Yeah,
bitty.
Lynn, I was born in Ohio. Mom and Dad worked up there for a few years, but we moved back here when I was 2 years old. So I've been down here 51 years. I've been in West Virginia. So, but this is where my mom and dad was raised. And so
I was reading the other day. I was reading the other day that West Virginia has got what is it, open season on deer down there on how many you can kill. So they had so many deer they didn't know what to do with them right now.
oh yeah, deer are really bad because the last few years they have quit. People aren't as hunting as much because they've had there was some kind of outbreak and everybody was afraid to hunt, afraid to eat the meat. So, hunting has been down for a little bit. And that's like, it's nothing at night. I've got motion sensor lights out back, and it's nothing to see a deer walk up to the edge of my porch. I mean, they just, matter of fact, I'll throw scrap out there because I'll feed them. I don't care, And so, yeah, there's deer everywhere down here. And then the state gets the bright idea to bring in elk. Okay. So, a few miles north of me, they've got elk running around. So it's weird, when you hit a deer with your car, there's a possibility that there's no, matter of fact, Rick hit one the other morning and there was no damage done. But by crackies, you hit an elk, you might as well counter that thing totaled,
Well, they like hitting a horse. They tall enough that they'll come through that damn windshield.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be worth a damn up there because the way I like to eat deer meat, there'd be deer in the freezer all the time.
Oh, if he had time to do the hunting, there would be. I mean, I grew up on deer meat. It was nothing for our friends to sit down, sister. You can't have the squirrel. Our friends that like to hunt but don't really like to eat it, they would bring it and give it to us. And it was nothing for me to skin and process 7 deer within a week or 2 weeks' time, And so we used to keep deer meat.
I tell you what, I used to kill 5 here in Texas, kill 5 a year in bow season, and I'd eat, make jerky out of them or sausage or hamburger. And then I got where I was just cutting steaks out of it, what made good steaks, and take the rest of it and put 10% beef tallow with it and just make hamburger meat out of it. And you could, if you wanted sausage, just put a little sausage mix on it and let it sit overnight in the cooler.
Yeah.
And, ooh, that's good eating.
Yeah, see, that's what we would do. I would fix a lot of steaks and roast. Some of it I would save for roast. And then take my scraps, what I would call scraps, which would all be lean meat because I cut the fats and stuff off of it. But I take that and, like I said, mix it, make hamburger. Then, like I said, if you want sausage, add your little sage in it or whatever, And now that was some good eating.
I had a friend of mine, his wife she's a chef, and I mean she'd been all over Europe, and, up in New York. And we were talking one day. Well, you buy the sausage mix and make sausage up, and one year it'd be real good, and next year it'd be all right, the next year wouldn't be worth a damn. And I couldn't figure that out. And she told me, said, "Now y'all are doing that wrong." Said, "You think about it." Said, "You take 3 jalapenos and eat them, and one of them will be just mild, and one of them will just burn your damn head off, and then another one will taste different." He said, she told me, said, "You got to get you the biggest container of sausage mix you can find, your seasoning, and said, just do little bitty batches until you get like want it, and then until you use that container up, said use that same measurement. But said now when you run out, you're gonna have to do it all over again because the next container won't be the same." And
Right.
by damn, that's true.
Yeah. And two, if you make up big batches like that, the longer the seasoning sets in the meat, sometimes seasoning gets stronger, sometimes it gets weaker, you know. So yeah, I would always take the hamburger and then just add it. Like if I'm going to have sausage this weekend, I would do it like now and just let it set for a few days, And
And I'm not a big sage person, so that's and a lot of people put a lot of sage in that sausage. Uh, the making me hungry now. I could cheer. You can't
my
beat.
favorite was a little bit of sage and cayenne pepper. That's basically all I would put in my sausage.
Well, I
Give it
got.
a little bit of heat and a little bit of, of uh, of the sage,
I
and it's
bought
good to go.
one of those dehydrators, and then I bought one of those jerky shooters where you could take that hamburger meat and shoot it out in strips, and dehydrate it and make jerky out of it. And boy, that's worked well. And in fact, I want to go buy a couple of tubes of hamburger meat and make up a little bit. I get to go to that Iron Mountain. Well, I'm gonna try to take a little bit out there. And
Yeah.
and the other thing about it, just regular jerky, damn, you pull all your damn teeth out of your head trying to bite a piece of it, and that ground meat, you don't have to do that.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Oh,
So,
well, what kind of fish do y'all fish for when you're down there?
honey, I'm tickled if anything gets on my line because a lot of times it's just catch and release. Because, like I said, I don't eat a lot of fish. I'll keep some crappie or something like that and fix it for mom. But you know, usually I just catch and release.
Well, people crappie is real good, but my favorite fish out of all of them, saltwater, freshwater, is a big old perch about big as your hand, and you just cut the head off and clean it, scale it, leave fins on it, and fry it. Ooh, I'll tell you what, you can hurt yourself on them, or I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to have a bunch of old ranchers and farmers that have these stock tanks, and they'd put perch in there for food, and then they put bass and catfish in there. Well, a damn perch would just multiply till they were crowding everything else out.
Yeah.
So on private property, you could run a trap. So when I got ready for some fish or a fish fry or something, I'd take maybe go to 5 or 6 of those stock tanks on private land and set them fish traps. And Lord, in a couple of days you had 300 or 400 fish. And boy, that's some good eating though. And to wash the bones a little bit, but you ever take a fish and people talk about when you cook them whole, you got the bones in them. You ever take one and catch it by the tail and put your thumb on the end of the backbone and push and wiggle? Every bit of the meat will fall off the bone.
That's what everybody says. Once it's cooked, that the bone will just, you can peel it right out, complete like that.
Well, this deal,
But
if you push on the tail and you push on that backbone and then wiggle it, you don't have to do nothing. All the meat will just fall off.
Well,
Won't be any bones in it.
yeah, I seen James's comment, butterfly steak. Love to take the back straps and cut them in butterfly steaks. And now, see, another thing I like to do is I'll butterfly a thin, like steak, and then fix it with and stuff it, with like stuffing or whatever. Just do something different with them and stuff. Angie, did you meet your husband in West Virginia? Actually, no, I met him online. He's from Pennsylvania. So, yeah.
My favorite meal is some backstrap, chicken fried, and a big old pan of white gravy and some hot biscuits. Now, I can hurt myself on that.
Oh yeah, I love to. When I do deer meat, I'll just put a little bit of like garlic salt and butter, fry them up. Oh man, we could eat for days on those things.
I'm gonna have to go get me something to eat. We keep talking about food. I'm gonna hang around here about a few more minutes, and then I gotta go meet somebody. There you go.
Yeah, I gotta get this quilt done. I'm hoping to have it done so I can show it on my live tonight, but I'm not gonna have it edged. But yeah, I'll go live tonight at 8:00 and talk more about the upcoming auction next week and stuff.
Yeah, well, come on. I'm gonna try to start doing something. Everybody raising hell at me about me popping up all times of day or night. Well, I'm gonna start trying to run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:00.
Yeah.
And so you ease in there and put all your, like Wednesday night, have all your stuff gathered up on your auction of when it's going to be and everything. We'll post it.
Yeah. I've got a little short up on my page showing the quilts and the sizes and stuff on there. And so everybody can check that out. Or if somebody wants to drop that link.
Yeah, that's what I fixed to say. Put that link in on it.
Yeah. Which I can't do it because I'm on my phone, but if somebody wanted to drop that for me, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, because when we go to Florida, we have annual passes to Gatorland. I am obsessed with gators. I can't help it. So we'll be going back to Gatorland. Plus, I love to go out on the boat, go gator hunting. That's how I call it. Or we should call it gator spotting, because they won't let me catch them. Then we go to get Swamp's Farm and play with the gators and the lemurs. But we've also got a World War II reenactment to go to. I think it is. Anyhow, we got a military reenactment to go to. Plus, this year I'll be going to a medieval festival. And so there's a lot of things that we want to get done this year. Plus, we do a little ghost hunting things. Plus, St. Augustine. I love St. Augustine. But I'm wanting to find more of the older historic buildings and bring out some more of the histories of different areas. And so, yeah. There's a lot that I want to get done this winter.
You made me go to laughing. You were talking about that Renaissance festival. Well, my sister-in-law did those Renaissance festivals. She traveled with them and did them. Well, they got these little outfits on that they wear, and it pushes the boobs up, where boobs are shining everywhere. Well, a bunch of them from up north came down here and did this Renaissance festival here in Central Texas. And it was one of them hot summer days. And for about 4 or 5 days after that, everybody's walking around like this because their boobs have done got sunburned. I laughed.
Thank you, Brene, for posting that for me. Yeah, it's funny. I've got my pirate costume can almost double as a Renaissance, but I've got a line on buying me a Renaissance dress, and then I make my headdress. And that's like I said, I call it my prairie costume up here. I made me a petticoat to go with it the other day. So we're getting really into the reenactments, and I guess you call it the cosplay. I got the pirate costume and stuff. So, and my son, oh my gosh, if anybody saw my live last week, you'll see he's in full Renaissance gear. He is so big into that stuff. So, and it gives us stuff to do together. And that's one thing I like about it, because I'm, the family channel and the family adventures is making the memories, So we get, like me and Rick up here will do a lot of adventures together. And then me and Josh will spend the winter times doing a lot of adventures together. And then, like, you'll see, like, me and Susan will get together and do a lot of adventures together. Because it's all about the memories. Because remember, when you're dead and gone, even if you leave money, it runs out. If you leave property, it'll fall by the wayside somewhere. But your memories that you leave are what's going to last lifetimes.
I started something and I need to get back on it. The video editing deal that I was using and I got used to, well, they shut it down. Well, I never have found another video editor that was easy to use yet, so I need to keep messing with it. And I've got a bunch of videos that I need to post. But one deal I started and I sort of quit was going back, and the earliest memory I had of anything, I did a video on that. And then I was going to take that thing and go up through everything, teenage years, being grown, and just for the grandkids and stuff,
Right.
they'd have a record of it. I need to get back on that. That was a pretty neat deal.
Yeah,
They,
because my grandmother used to tell us stories and stuff all the time, and now that they're all gone, I wish so much that I had recordings of them, especially my grandmother Cook on my mom's side. They were raised, Papa was a coal miner. And back then, that's when they lived in the coal camps and, and all that stuff. And she had stories to tell. And, of course, me, I like the paranormal stuff and ghost stories that happened to her, things that happened to her and all this stuff. I mean, it's like, those are stories that I'll never get to hear again because she's gone now,
And there's so many questions I'd like to just ask my dad or my grandparents or great grandparents, and there's some pictures and paperwork I'd love to have. My great grandfather was a straight up kind of guy. He didn't pull your leg over anything. If he said something, you can just carry it to the bank. That's the way he was.
Yeah.
And he had a newspaper article that, and of course, now we're talking about old Model T, but they were going down a gravel road and they thought it was a, telephone post was little then. He thought it was a telephone post that fell across the road. Well, they got out and was going to move, and there was a damn rattlesnake that was stretched from one side of that road to the other. And they messed around and finally killed it and took a picture of it. And that damn rattler was 12 foot long and was bigger around as the steering wheel on that Model T. And they had pictures of it.
Wow.
And ain't no telling what something like that'd be worth now. But
Yeah.
he wouldn't BS you. That's one man. He told you something, you believed it. Listen, I'm gonna have to get off this thing, Angie. I appreciate you coming up, gal. I hadn't got to visit with you in a long time.
I know it's been a blast. It's been a blast. And like I said, you may not see me and, I may not chat a lot because I've been, I'll listen while I'm working around the house or whatever. But I always love dropping in and I always, leave you your thumbs up and all that good stuff. But just remember, guys, I love each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Y'all become my family. And I'll pop in every now and then and check on everybody. you know?
Well, I still think about getting you laughing so damn hard you couldn't get your breath.
Oh God, yes. Oh Lord. There's been many nights. I still keep my inhaler close by, you know.
That one
I
night you
look
had to go.
forward to the day, Ron, when we could actually sit down across the table with a cup of coffee and share these stories, That's my
Oh,
goal in life, is to get out and meet people like you guys. So,
well, I'm going to try to make some meetups this year and do things a little bit different on meeting some folks. But anyway, I'm going to get off here or I'm going to be late. You have a good
yeah.
one, girl. Everybody in
All right.
chat,
Love you guys.
I
Bye.
appreciate y'all coming in, and we'll see you, if not beforehand, Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, Central Time. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.